Hello everybody, it's Bill Platt again, and this is a probably the most important video in this training that you should watch today. This is going to cover the legalese or the legal requirements of using the images that we use inside our books. And so Fotolia is a stock photo image or stock image or stock photo website that I typically use for a lot of my web design stuff. And I will buy images here for $1 or $6 or whatever the case may be. But I buy by the credit, and these are, you can get as low as 74 cents, but I don't buy in that type of volume, so I think I'm actually buying for about $1.10 or $1.25 per credit. And some images I download are only 1 credit. Some images I download are 8 credits, so I have to keep a close eye to that. Okay, so on Fotolia being a stock image website, let's look at the terms of service as it applies to photos downloaded from this website. Now, the standard license is what I'm generally buying, which will cover anywhere from $1 to $8 per image is generally what I pay on that. Now, standard licenses include, now here's your standard license, and there's a couple things we have to be careful of. You can reproduce, modify, or display the work subject to section restrictions in section 3. I'll get to that in just a moment. But right now, your standard license applies to print and digital media such as books, ebooks, newspapers, magazines, and newsletters. Now, most people stop reading right there and think, well, they got whipped, right? But the problem is, you scroll down here and it says extended license. In addition to the standard license, any goods or intended for resale distribution, including without limitation to mugs, t-shirts, posters, greeting cards, or other merchandise, and any print on demand or tangible or electronic format. So right up here they told you that a standard license applies to books. However, in addition to the standard license, you may have to purchase the extended license for any print on demand or tangible product. So your coloring books through CreateSpace are both tangible and print on demand. So you need to have the extended license. And that's just my reading. I'm not a lawyer, but that's how I read the document. And if we get this wrong, it's like a $10,000 per infraction fine if you are found to be in violation of the license you purchased with your image. And so you want to get this right. You don't want to screw this part up. It's very important that you get it right. Okay, so let's go down and look at the restrictions. And the only thing that really stood out was section 3.3, social media use. You cannot post the work on a social media site unless the work is designated as social media enabled. So a lot of people are buying these images and putting them up on Facebook. You can't do that unless it's social media enabled image. So it's very important that we pay close attention to the terms of service and the licensing with these particular images. I know I listened to, I heard about a training that somebody else did in the last year, and they said, oh no, all you need is a standard license in order to use images in your books. Well, guess what? That's not right. Because in addition to the standard license, if you're doing print on demand or tangible products, you must have the extended license. So don't screw this up, people. Here's another website, iStock Photos, and it's used by a lot of people, recommended by a lot of people. And the thing is, it's by Getty Images. Getty Images has a ruthless reputation for going after people who use their images outside the terms of the license they purchased. You do not want to cross with Getty Images. You will get screwed. There's just no way you're going to win that one. So, what licenses do I need with iStock photo images? When you download a file on iStock, you're buying a standard license that lets you use the file for personal, business, or commercial purposes that are not otherwise restricted. That means you can use the content in advertising, marketing, apps, websites, social media, TV, film, presentations, newspapers, magazines, and books. But, and here's the key, when do I need to add an extended license? There are two different times that you need to add an extended license. If you sell more than 500,000 printed copies, then you need the unlimited reproduction license. If you sell physical products, you need the products for resale license. So most all of us, if we're going to be taking images from iStock Photo and converting them or reorganizing them in such a way as to use them within our coloring books, chances are, since we are printing the book and selling it as a printed book, we will need the products for resale license in addition to the standard license. And only if you're a best-selling book author will you need also the unlimited reproduction license. Hopefully we can get there, but unless we got the Secret Garden, if we're as famous and as commercially successful as the Secret Garden, we may not need the unlimited reproduction license. And you can purchase that at a later date if you need to do so. However, when you go to print, the minute you print that book out, you have to have a products for resale license. Don't mess this up. If you do, it could be a $10,000 per infraction fine to you if you mess this up. And I can't emphasize enough how important it is to get this right. There are people out there telling you right now that all you need is a standard license with your coloring book or with any book you do. And the fact is, if you're going to iStock Photo, you have to have a products for resale license in order to use these images in your coloring books. And which is the reason why Fotolia and iStock Photo are off limits to any particular book I'm working on. I will not buy their photos for my books unless I've purchased an extended license. Now on a book cover, I can justify the extended license. And sometimes it's $40, sometimes it's $60, sometimes it's $200. But I can justify that for a book cover. But if I put together a book with 50 images in it, a coloring book with 50 images in it, then we're talking $2,000 at the low end to get the proper licensing to be able to use this stuff. And I'm not in business to make iStock Photo money. I'm in the business to make me money. So I'm not going to do stock photos for my coloring books for the internal pages of my coloring books. So just be aware that that is there. You will likely have to have an extended license. If somebody, and see, here's the thing, I'm not a lawyer. I cannot give you legal advice. So my advice is, if you're confused or concerned, contact Fotolia, contact iStock Photo, and get them to put in writing that you do not have to have an extended license for your intended use of the image. If you don't have it in writing, you don't have nothing. And if you have nothing and then you find yourself in court, then you find that you have less than nothing because you're getting sued and you're going to lose. So this is very important that you get this part right. And I keep saying that, but I mean it. It's a big deal. It's a really big deal. And if you mess it up, you could easily get sued. If you got 50 50 images in a book and 10,000 an image, that's a $500,000 fine you're looking at. I don't even want to touch it. So I'm not going to touch it. But if somebody else is telling you, giving you legal advice, telling you just need a standard license for your book, you know what? He's not, whoever that person is, they're not going to stand behind you in court and say, well, I gave him permission to use iStock photo images without the appropriate licensing. So you need to lay him off the hook and don't mind me because it's not my book, you know. That's not going to work in court of law. So here's what we do. Instead of using stock photo sites, we go to sites that offer, like Openclipartorg. They have thousands of clip art images we can use. According to their stats, they have 83,400 images on their website, and we can use any of these in our artwork. And to prove that we can use any of them, here's their licensing fees: unlimited commercial use. We try to make it clear that you may use all clip art from Openclipart for unlimited commercial use. We believe that giving away our images is a great way to share with the world our talents, and that will come back around in a better form, karma. So all clip art are released into the public domain. Each artist at Openclipart releases all rights to the images they share on Openclipart. The reason is so that there's no friction in using or sharing images the authors make available at this website. So each artist may also receive the same benefit of using other artists' clip art totally for any possible reason. So this website, we're not going to get into any copyright issues with how we might use a particular image taken from this website. Okay, I'm back. I had to get a drink, so coming back into it, Openclipartorg, unlimited commercial use. Another website that we recommend is Pixabay. Pixabay has a lot of images, and the important thing about Pixabay is our licensing. All images on Pixabay are released into the public domain under Creative Commons CC0. Therefore, the images can be modified, may be used freely for any application, also commercially, and in printed format. Attribution is appreciated but not required. There are exceptions to this. For example, identifiable people may not appear in a bad light or in a way that they may find offensive unless they first give their consent to do so. And also, do not suggest endorsement of products or services by depicted people or organizations. For example, do not use a NASA image and place it adjacent to your own product in a way that suggests that NASA would recommend your product. In addition to these common sense regulations, there are a few more items to know. Model and property release. Imagine, would you like to see your face in a TV spot without first being asked for permission? Of course you wouldn't. Therefore, identifiable people must give their consent for public usage of their images. This is meant by the term model release. You have to have a model release if the person in the image is easily identifiable. The same goes for private property. Would you like to see your private home displayed in an advertisement without prior notice? This is the reason for the so-called property release. The object owner must give permission to use pictures of his or her belongings, but the property release also covers special cases where designs or seemingly public buildings are protected. Examples of designs are new notebook computers or mobile phones, as well as the Chrysler Building in New York City or the London Eye. If you would like to use pictures of those items, the creators or owners must be asked for their permission before you use the image. Getty Images offers a large and highly useful database for looking up intellectual property release requirements, and that can be found at wiki.gettyimages.com. However, there is a difference between editorial and commercial use. Model and property releases are particularly important for commercial application. However, if you're showing the image on your blog, that is considered non-commercial editorial usage. In general, no release is required for such applications. However, commercial use is loosely defined as all sorts of business where you're actually selling something, or if you use images for advertising purposes. So take particular care when it comes to huge quantities. An example, if you were to create an advertisement for a famous magazine, or if you were to design a new iPhone cover. Conclusion: it may seem terribly complicated, but really isn't. Simply put yourself in the position of the depicted person, or the position of the owner or designer of the product you're showing, or the property you're showing. Would you approve of the intended application without being asked? If the answer is yes, you're probably safe. If it's no, you definitely need to get permission. This is a question you should always ask yourself before using a public domain image without release. Now, it's important to understand that public domain means that you can freely use, display, modify, or print an image without asking permission from the image author. However, it's still your responsibility to make sure the depicted content, persons, logos, private property, is suitable for your application and does not infringe on anybody's rights. So we've gone through and we've looked at 4 different websites. We've looked at Photolia and iStock Photos, and both cases they're stock photo image sites or stock image sites, and both have a standard license, which is cheap, and an extended license, which applies to physical products. So since we're dealing in the physical product realm with books, we need to have an extended license. If you want an exception to the extended license, contact the stock image website, ask them for clarification, and if they give you permission to use their image with a standard license in the format you wish to use it, get it in writing. Don't take somebody's word off the internet. Get it in writing from the stock photo website so you don't find yourself at the butt end of a copyright infringement lawsuit. Okay? And then we looked at Openclipartorg, unlimited commercial license for these images. Pixabay, pretty much unlimited commercial license here as well, with exceptions being model and property release. Just use common sense and you'll be in pretty good shape. But bear in mind, I am not a lawyer and I am not dispensing legal advice. If you need legal advice, contact an attorney.